Welcome everyone to another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. I was my mother's caregiver when she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Unfortunately, she passed on 1/1/2020, but we started TogetherForSharon.com in her memory. Lately, I've been trying to get some incredible organizations and foundations and societies out there because I think that they do such inspiring work, but I want the world to know about them. And I'm just so grateful to have our guest today. She's someone who I've known for a year. It seems like longer because I truly admire all that you do and just the whole organization. I share as much as I can throughout all social media. And the reason I wanted and I was excited to have you on today is that I feel even if we reach just one person out there, whether it's just in Dallas or around the world, we might have changed their life for the better. So again, I just wanted to welcome Leisha to the show, and such an honor again to have you here.
Thank you, George. I'm really honored to be here.
Well, maybe we can start by if you could tell us kind of not about the society yet, but what's your connection, if any, to the Parkinson's world? I've heard, so many different stories and journeys, but it's always interesting to hear the unique differences.
Sure, I'm happy to. Yeah, I have a family member who has Parkinson's 18 years ago. He is still active, but when I first came across DAPS, which was about 6 years ago, I had never heard of the Dallas Area Parkinson Society. And when I asked him, who he also lives locally, I said, "Have you ever heard of this organization?" And he said, "No, I haven't." And I'm happy to say that my loved one is now very engaged on a weekly basis in all of the programs that DAPS offers here in the North Texas area. So it's a win-win for me, both professionally and personally.
I appreciate it, and we send our love to your family member and the whole family, and also everybody at the Dallas Area Parkinson Society behind the scenes. Because again, I'm grateful for all of what you all do, and tell your love them that we're here fighting right by their side too.
Thank you so much.
Now, I just want to shift a little bit, if I could get this up, and I wanted to share the website if I do this. There you go. First, I just want to thank you again for your support and time. It's amazing. I always point out this was back in June of 23, so how fast the time flies. And you've always been such an incredible support, and we send that right back to you. But Leisha did interview with me over a year ago, and everyone, if you have time to look a lot more in depth as to her background and also how to reach out to her and support the Dallas Area Parkinson's Society, it's very important. You go to TogetherForSharon.com and just click interviews, and you can scroll down. And now again, what excites me, I don't do this for anything except hope that people never feel alone. I felt alone as a caregiver. My mother did as someone diagnosed. And I wish we're in Florida, but I still would have loved to have been able to know about the Dallas support that you offer. So everyone, please go to daps.org. And now if we could talk a little bit about this society, how it came about, and what makes it unique.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to. Well, DAPS has actually been around since 1978. So over those years, a lot has happened. But I think what kind of sets it apart and what makes it unique is that for 10 years, our founder, Clarice Dougherty, and her husband, who had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, were really living in Dallas alone with no resources, no connections, no guidance, really nothing at all. And they just happened to go to a college reunion that was in East Texas at Texas A&M. And there they met some other colleagues who actually had Parkinson's, and they had been going to the Houston Area Parkinson's Society, which is called HAPS. And so Clarice and her husband drove for several years to Houston so that they could just receive some of those resources and some of the guidance. And finally, after several trips from Dallas to Houston, Clarice said, if Houston can do it, then Dallas can do it. And that's really how DAPS was born. So for the first over 20 years, DAPS was really run by volunteers and part-time help. And so it wasn't really until the 21st century that DAPS was able to hire a full-time executive director. And now we have in addition to our full-time executive director, myself, we also have three part-time employees who provide our programming and our event management, and of course, all of our data and donor information. So we have certainly expanded our reach and are excited about the new things to come this year and especially in 25.
That's amazing. I find another connection. I'm a professor at Texas A&M, so it's a small world. I teach
Very small world.
and my background's police and law, but my PhD is in criminal justice, and I love Texas A&M. So thank you. Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
So that was really amazing. Now maybe we could also touch on some of the incredible programs, and we started something new that we might be able to talk about later on. But I've been doing a new show, which is Q&A with Sharon son, but I've been zooming into events. So I see here some incredible events. And if you ever wanted to do that, what I'm trying to do is not just today's talk's amazing, but imagine sharing the live events around the world. And that's something that's kind of taking off with a lot of organizations and foundations jumping on. But again, it would all be to spotlight and highlight what you do. But this is actually to actually talk to people there and interview them is just something that virtual is not always easy to do, but it would be incredible. So maybe we could turn a little bit to some of the services you offer and also anything else here you'd like to share, but I'll scroll around. I don't want to distract you.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you sharing all the information we have. And DAPS is small, but what we do is pretty remarkable. So we have an incredible team of people that what I like to say is we provide connection, compassion, and ultimately a community. And so we do that in several different ways. One way is we provide monthly educational programs where we secure a speaker, typically through a sponsor. And oftentimes that's a movement disorder expert or someone else who may be a professional in the Parkinson's field. It could be a physical therapist, a speech therapist, it could be a counselor. And so once a month in 5 locations throughout North Texas, we provide lunch, we provide a speaker, which allows people, whether they are brand new to Parkinson's or someone or a family that's decided they'd like to start learning a little bit more about it, we invite anyone at all to come to our educational programs. The other thing that we do on a weekly basis is we provide 16 exercise classes that are offered in 3 different counties and also virtually. Our exercise classes are really unique in that all of our instructors have gone through a certification called the Move, Laugh, Connect program. And this particular program is unique in that it addresses not just the motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease, but it also incorporates the emotional and the social and some of the cognitive challenges that people might experience. That class has just turned into one that people love to attend. So we have seen so many new relationships and friendships that have been sparked just by those opportunities. We also provide speech support classes. And again, what makes us unique is that we try to make sure that all of our classes are easily accessible. And so the way we do that is we offer our exercise and our speech classes contingent. So they are consecutively provided, one at 1 o'clock, and perhaps the next would be the following hour. And so what makes that really nice is that it also allows for care partners to be able to step aside and attend possibly our support groups for care partners. Our care partner support groups are all led by professionals, counselors and social workers. And so it's a really nice place to be able to go and get several of your needs met at one time and at one place.
That's amazing. I do wish I had that when my mother was struggling, because I even look back today, I don't regret a lot of what we tried, but we never really had a place where we could have other people with Parkinson's speak to her. She felt alone, and I don't know if it wasn't just offered or we just couldn't find it at the time. Then finally, when the American Parkinson's Disease Association stepped in, they were amazing, but it was kind of unfortunately a little too late. She couldn't do a lot of the exercise things. And I do think even though COVID is obviously terrible, it has brought us all the ability for technology for virtual, like we're meeting. We would never be able to meet years ago. And now you can attend, everyone listening. Please share this too and support the DAPS and all that you do. But you can actually attend from home, which I think is incredible because now no one has any excuses, not to be
Exactly.
able to join up. And again, I think support is one of the most important things. So I appreciate you sharing that. What are some of the events that might be coming up? I saw trying to share the calendar. I'm jealous because I wish I could go to them all. The longer.
Yeah. So we are relaunching one of our most popular classes that we just unfortunately had to discontinue last November. But we are relaunching the Dance for PD class on Monday, September 9th. This will actually be taught by a certified instructor who has gone through the Dance for PD program. That's an internationally recognized and renowned program for people with Parkinson's. And so we're really excited to bring that back to Dallas. That will be in just a couple of weeks.
Excellent.
And the other event that we have coming up is our annual symposium, which is a really popular event, again, for people on all stages of the journey of Parkinson's, whether it's the beginning or more towards the latter stages. Our symposium has really proven to be a big success for so many people because we make sure that we provide all the resources that people will need. We make sure that all of our speakers are really addressing some of those most common problems or issues that people are asking us about. So we're bringing in several movement disorder experts. We'll also have a neuropsychologist that will be speaking. Of course, we'll have deep brain stimulation and our medical advisory board member who is a neurosurgeon speaking there, and lots of other great events. So every single thing that DAPS offers is at no cost to a member. We work hard to make sure that all of our funding is provided through donations or through sponsorships so that no one who needs to come to one of our groups or our classes or any program that we offered is not obligated to pay. And so that is certainly the case with our annual symposium, which is on Saturday, October 5th from 8:30 to 2 o'clock.
Thanks. And I think it's amazing and beautiful that you now offer the dance. A lot of people don't realize that slows the progression. I didn't know it till unfortunately after. And we had the honor, I'm in South Florida, but in our community, we have the Boca Ballet, and they have a program once a year where the little children, it's really beautiful, dance with the people with Parkinson's, and kind of like so, in a way, shockingly beautiful that I dream of it some days because it was so beautiful. And we're grateful that we were able to attend. And David Leventhal, who you know well, I'm sure everyone listening will be on our show too. So that'll be exciting. I had the opportunity to meet him at the Boca Ballet. And I think what he does and what you do is just, again, so important. And that if everyone out there, whether you have Parkinson's or if you're a family member or you're not even ever heard of Parkinson's, it's important to be aware that there are things like dance that actually can help slow the progression. So thanks for again, bringing that and offering it. I think it's amazing. If somebody in the North Texas area might be dealing with Parkinson's, or maybe someone, a neighbor could be listening in, how would that individual try to reach out? I mean, I'm showing a lot of it, but I think it sounds more beautiful from you than from me.
Sure, we are available almost all the time. Folks can email us if they prefer at DAPS, DAPS, at DAPS.org, or folks can call us 972 620 7600, and we have access to although we're not always in the office, we always have access to all forms of communication. So we do our best to usually get back with folks within 24 hours, sometimes 48. So whether it's a neighbor or whether it's a loved one's or whether it's someone that is dealing with Parkinson's, we are all well equipped to make sure that we provide the resources that are most helpful for the individual and the family.
Thanks. And I want to encourage everyone again to go to is this going to be, it's mainly live, right? Not unless we can make it virtual for you. But it's
So, yeah, good question. We will actually be recording our sessions. So, although it will not be live, we will have recorded sessions that we'll put on our YouTube channel. And that usually just takes about a week after the event has taken place.
yeah, and some of these speakers are great. I mean, Dr. De Leon will be coming on our show, and also I know Michael, he actually did an interview too with me. So it's really important individuals, but people who can relate. Some individuals have Parkinson's, some are medical professionals. So it's a great list of speakers. I'm jealous. So
Thank you. Our
hopefully.
has done a fantastic job at really securing excellent speakers. So we're excited just to be able to deliver a really comprehensive set of information and guidance to the community.
And also, I want to thank you for your leadership and again, the whole staff. So send our love to all of them. You're all doing really inspiring work. And then I was just curious if you could touch on, maybe you don't want to, but I did a lot of research a year ago and I found the Parkinson's network. It's mainly individuals, I believe, well, maybe I'm wrong, in Texas. So it looks like it might not just be in Texas, but can you touch a little bit about these associations? Most of them or all have been on interview with me. Some of them might be small and just don't respond, which is kind of sad because you are always so helpful and so caring and just so responsive. And I personally, I have a bias. I think we all have to work together and be a family in this fight for a cure. I never will understand where, the one organization is on their own world and their own. And I think if we all join together, like it seems that this network is doing, maybe you could just tell everyone out there about it.
Yeah, for sure. So the Independent Parkinson's Network, or IPN, is a collaboration of independent local Parkinson's organizations. So there are currently 12 of us that are a part of this network. And we actually just had our biannual meeting in Dallas last weekend. And so we come together to explore and identify best practices that can be used within our own practices. We each have a slightly unique take on that in terms of how we deliver services. But together, collectively, we are able to identify best practices so that we can share that with our communities.
Thanks. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because you don't see a lot of that. A lot of time, unfortunately, a lot of the organizations are on their own. I was lucky enough to attend the Michael J. Fox IQ event here in South Florida, and it was everybody together, which was really beautiful. But again, you'll have one for some reason doesn't want to work with the, like in school, didn't want to work well with others for some, but luckily 99.9 do. So again, especially you, I'm grateful for your time. Now I wanted to, I don't know if there was any other areas you wanted to touch on the organization, or we can shift a little bit more about yourself, which is probably the most fun.
Yeah, I think we can shift. I think we've kind of covered all the service. Actually, I take that back. We do have one other
Please.
virtual service. So for your folks that are listening, regardless of where people are, 2 years ago we started a quarterly Ask the Nutritionist program, and it is via Zoom. We get folks from all over the country and the world that join us. And what makes our program unique is that our nutritionist, Faye Elahi, has also been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. So she's been living with Parkinson's for the last 14 years, but her background in nutrition makes her truly an expert when it comes to diet and the gut and the brain connection. So we certainly invite folks wherever they are to join us, sign up for our newsletter at daps.org, so that way you can get all those notices about the many different virtual opportunities that we have.
And I will commend you on your social media because I always see so much and I share it every time it does come across my screen. And I think that's a great way, obviously, of spreading more awareness. And please, everyone, join up with DAPS and their social media because you'll have the best up to date, minute by minute, almost like a news journal story of their events and everything they offer. So thank you. Maybe you could start us off by, can you list 3 words that describe who you are?
Hmm.
I love,
Uh, wow.
love that response.
I wasn't really expecting that,
That's my
George.
favorite part of the show, honestly.
I bet you like to see those reactions. I would say that I am real, I am honest, and I am courageous.
Thank you. And can you list one moment or one most memorable moment that stands out through most of your work and awareness so far today?
Wow, there are quite a few of those moments. I think the comments that I hear from care partners are what stand out the most to me. When we get a phone call or we get an email from someone that says, "I don't know what I would have done without DAPS." And DAPS has been a lifeline for me. That's what makes us realize that the work that we're doing is important and that we can't do it alone. As you mentioned, it certainly takes a village, it takes teamwork, and we have a fantastic team here in Dallas that I'm so honored to be just proud to be a part of. So I think I would say hearing and seeing just the support that our partners have specifically received from DAPS is really what stands out.
Thank you. And I want to kind of bring out the people from behind the scenes and wondering who helps you during times of struggle, because obviously now you're still battling as a family member, caregiver, and partner, and also through your work at the society. I guarantee it's not 100% always easy because you are dealing with Parkinson's disease. So maybe you could share who helps you during times of struggle. And the second part, as you know, I was a caregiver. What tips could you give caregivers who may be listening?
Yeah, well, good questions.
Mm.
I will say that I really have got a pretty remarkable team of supporters. Many of my friends are also in the nonprofit and social work field, and so it's always nice to be able to go to some of my friends who are leaders in a similar field who understand that when you run a nonprofit, it's kind of becomes a part of your family in a sense, and I take it very seriously, and I love it like a family member at times. So having those friends there to support me is so important. I will certainly say that our staff and our volunteers and our board have truly, truly been so uplifting, encouraging, always making sure that they're there when they see that I have maybe too much on my plate and I need that help. Folks that are aware of that or just make an effort to reach out and see if they can help or if there are some areas that they might be able to support me in really, really, really keeps me going. And then I think the second part of your question, just tips for care partners. I'm the kind of person as a care partner. Um, eh, uh, for me, it's gathering not just the information, but it's really listening to other people's stories that help me personally. I want to hear how someone dealt with a specific situation, how they got through that, which resources they use, what are the things that they did that they wish they wouldn't have done, or what are the things they wish they would have known that they didn't know about. I want to know about the books that they have read. I want to read memoirs. I want to hear about tips on how to improve that communication and the relationship with the doctor. And I want to know about all the different parts of the disease and how I can help my loved ones as a whole, instead of just looking at them as someone with Parkinson's, but seeing that that's just one part of them, that they have so many other parts to who they are that make them the wonderful person that they are, and how can I support all parts of that person?
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I started on a journey my own, and how we met interviewing over, now it's become somehow 800 people around the world for awareness. And we're finally in a month, I think, releasing the first book of 200. And I'm hoping on ebook it'll be completely free. And it's really just going to be a resource of interviews so people know they're never alone. And you're going to be one of them. So I'm excited. I'll let you know when, but that's going to be very important because then it'll also get what you're doing in the society around the world too. So that's going to be really exciting. Uh, if is there anything that you might have done differently looking back in the past 10 years through awareness?
Yes. What I would have done different is I would have dove into DAPS 18 years ago instead of 6 years ago. I did not, I didn't look actively, and I wish I would have been a little more proactive. And I wish that I would have taken that opportunity to really get to know some of the people that run this organization and really become involved. I think that's my one regret.
And I probably could find the answer in a lot of what you've already shared, but what drives and motivates you daily? Because I know there are some days where, obviously miss my mother every day, but see other people battling the disease, and I never want anyone to feel what my mother, our family did. That kind of drives me. And then when I see you out there and all the inspiring work you do, it's like even if I'm about to pass out, I just keep pushing through and I realize how we need everyone's voice in this fight for a cure. But I was wondering what, kind of drives you, motivates you to keep going.
Yeah, for me, I mean, certainly my loved one. If
Right.
this is a way that I can give back to him in some way, that absolutely fuels me for sure. It is definitely knowing that I'm not alone, that I'm not the only one that's out there working, that it's thousands of people just like you, George. And we're all doing our part. And when we all do our part, we really can make that progress. We really can move forward. So, yeah, I think it's just knowing that I'm a part of a really remarkable group of people, and that we all bring our own set of skills and strengths to make sure that that life is still full and meaningful.
And now you're getting me to motivate me now more, which there's no more time in the day. I got to do more. So I appreciate that. And here's a fun one. If you were asked to write a script to a movie about your life story, what would you call it?
Slow down.
That's what I think we'll be co-stars. I like that one. And then I know again, I'm so grateful for your time and your friendship. And I always say, everyone listening, please share this, not just to support Together for Sharon or also the society, but this conversation is one that can't end just after this show. We need to continue to share it. I'm hoping I'll be sharing this several times a year, even it'll never get out there until we find a cure, but it can't be a thing where you have this conversation, see you, goodbye. We have to keep fighting. And I think, again, together, we're going to do a lot more to bring awareness. So I'm grateful again. If you could leave the Parkinson's community today with some words of encouragement, what would they be?
Um, you're not alone, no matter where you are on the journey. You never have to stay on the journey by yourself.
I think that's the best way to kind of conclude. It just, uh, I think also on top of that, or in addition, we need to make sure the world knows about DAPS, because that's the second key and the point of today. So I have a little message for you and everyone listening. We love you, we support you, we care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with our amazing guests today, will advocate for you, and together I feel our voices are so much stronger. And I always say I'm just getting started, because even though neither of us are, I feel like I said when I learned about you a year ago and all that you do, it kind of pushed me to get in touch with you and to make sure, again, that the world knows about the Dallas area Parkinson Society. So I don't know if you had any final notes or things you might have wanted to talk, or also you mentioned how to reach you, but maybe we can mention it one more time as we wrap up.
Absolutely, yes. We are always available at DAPS, DAPS, at DAPS.org, or our number is 97.
I think you froze. Well, if we don't get the communication back, just want to thank everyone so much. This has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George, and there's so much more to come. The fight can't end until we find a cure, and I'm so grateful for all of your time and for yours, our guest today, Leisha. It's just been an honor, a pleasure. Hope for many more to come. But thanks, everyone, and keep watching, keep smiling, and I'll still always be there fighting right by your side for awareness and hope for a cure. Thank you, Sharon. Son, love you all.